Most RAG teams are not losing because retrieval fails. They are losing because the right document shows up too low.
Exactly. And MRR is the metric that exposes that problem fast. It tells you how high the first relevant result appears in your ranked retrieval list.
So, this is not just, did we retrieve something useful? It is, how soon did we retrieve it?
Right. In RAG, rank position matters because your model usually sees only the top few chunks. A relevant chunk at rank 1 can shape the answer. The same chunk at rank 8 may never be read.
That is a brutal difference. Same corpus, same chunk exists, but one ranking wins and the other might hallucinate.
Picture a support bot for an API. A user asks, how do I rotate an access token without downtime? If the exact migration doc is the first hit, the answer is crisp. If it is buried below generic auth docs, the model may stitch together something risky.
So what does MRR actually measure in plain English?
For each query, you find the rank of the first relevant result. Then you reward earlier ranks much more than later ones. Rank 1 is excellent. Rank 2 is good, but clearly worse. Rank 10 is technically a hit, but operationally weak.
Because users do not care that the answer was somewhere in the pile. They care whether the system grabbed it in time.
Exactly. MRR is really a speed to relevance metric for ranked retrieval. It asks, how quickly does your retriever land on something useful?
And this feels especially important in RAG, because context windows are finite and budgets are real.
Yes, if you only pass the top 3 chunks into generation, then rank 4 might as well be invisible. That is why rank position is not cosmetic. It changes what the model knows.
Give me a concrete retrieval scenario where MRR catches a failure that a looser metric might miss.
Say you run an internal company assistant over HR policies. Employees ask, what happens to unused vacation when I transfer countries? Your retriever returns the exact policy chunk, but often at rank 6. A hit rate style metric may say, great, we found it. MRR says, not good enough, because the answer is arriving too late to reliably influence generation.
So a team can fool itself. They think retrieval is healthy because relevant content appears somewhere, but the model still answers badly.
That is one of the biggest traps. MRR is harsh in a useful way. It punishes systems that make users and models dig.
How should builders interpret a higher score versus a lower score without turning this into benchmark theater?
A higher MRR usually means your retriever gets relevant evidence near the top more consistently. That tends to improve answer quality, reduce prompt bloat, and lower the chance that generation anchors on weaker context.
And a lower score means your system is more fragile, even if the right facts technically exist in the index.
Right. Lower MRR suggests a ranking problem. Maybe your embeddings are too coarse. Maybe chunking splits the useful passage awkwardly. Maybe metadata filters are muddy. Maybe re-ranking is missing or weak.
This is where the winners and losers separate, right? Two teams can use the same model and same documents, but the one with better ranking looks smarter.
Absolutely. In production, retrieval quality often shifts perceived model quality. Users blame the assistant, but the real failure happened upstream, when the best evidence did not make the cut.
Let us make that practical. Suppose I am debugging a product docs RAG system. Where does MRR help me act?
Take a query like, can I resume a failed file upload from the SDK? If the ideal chunk sits at rank 1 after you add a re-ranker, that is a meaningful gain. If it still sits at rank 5, your generator may answer from a vague upload overview instead of the retry section. MRR helps you see whether your retrieval changes are moving truth upward, not just increasing noise.
So when I tweak chunk size, add hybrid search, or introduce metadata filters, I should ask one sharp question. Did the right chunk move closer to the top?
Exactly. MRR is great for comparing ranking strategies because it keeps the focus on first useful evidence. That maps well to how many RAG pipelines actually operate.
Any caveat? When would MRR be helpful but not sufficient?
If your task needs multiple relevant chunks, MRR only tells you about the first one. That is still valuable, but not the whole picture. For synthesis-heavy questions, you may also care about whether several good pieces appear in the top results.
Still, For a lot of real systems, first relevant evidence is the power move.
Yes, because in RAG, being vaguely right somewhere is not enough. The winning system gets the right evidence early enough to control the answer.